The Puzzle of Ivy. Submitted to r/nosleep by Calford_. My father died on a sunny afternoon in December. I had left school early that day. After the doctor had told Mom, we'd best be getting ready to say our goodbyes. I swung by my brother's middle school to pick him up. I'm here to get Colin Rivard. Sorry, who are you? His sister. I went to this school. You need my ID? I'm sorry, we don't allow unauthorized family members to. Our dad's about to die. They made an exception. We'd been expecting it for a while. I had, at least. Mom was a hopeless optimist, jumping on every experimental treatment, herbal remedy, prayer circle, what have you. I was less so, and as Mom silently sobbed, holding his hand in an iron grip, I wish I had brought her down to earth sooner, stopped her from indulging in these wild fantasies that her terminally ill husband will up and walk out of the hospital alive. He glanced at us, my mother, then Colin, then I. His lips parted. We waited with bated breath. Tell Ivy I'm sorry. Who's Ivy? Your guess is as good as mine. Dad's last words left us with a mystery on our hands, a mystery that Mom immediately disregarded as Dad losing his marbles as his brain cancer swallowed him whole. We don't know an Ivy. Your father was just saying things. There was a bite to her words, and I knew that she was angry and perplexed that her high school sweetheart's last words called to another woman. One thing's for sure. We don't know an Ivy. No cousins, grandparents, aunts, uncles, in-laws, friends. And I've looked. Late at night, while Mom was asleep, I scoured Dad's high school yearbooks, checking for an Ivy in every grade. Nada. Scrolled through his Facebook friends, LinkedIn, his old workplace website. Nothing. At first, Ivy was a puzzle that must be solved. As the years went on, she shifted into an urban legend, a myth, and finally, a memory my mother likes to pretend she forgot. I'm going to kill myself, Gretchen mutters, exhaling deeply as she rests her elbows on her open textbook and buries her head in her hands. I'll tag along, Jonah quips, tipping his head back to drain the rest of his coffee. Let's synchronize window dive out of the engineering building. Fast forward almost 2 years, and I'm a sophomore in college, with different pressing issues, like making sure I pass my upcoming midterms and maintain my social life without having a nervous breakdown. Mysteries are hard, sure, but definitely not as hard as organic chemistry, or in Gretchen's case, structural geology. I chose a school close to home, very close with a 20-minute drive, depending on how fast I take the highway. I did this for my mother's sake, because a full-time job and a growing teenage boy can be a lot to handle. Can you two go be suicidal somewhere else? I'm trying to read. The quiet buzz of the library soothes the building pit in my stomach, as Gretchen's heavy boot shakes under the table and Jonah taps his pencil on his notebook, his eraser gnawed to a nub from stress. My cell phone's ringer pulls me from my trance. Colin. Hello? Alana? My brother's voice warbles and shakes, and with those 3 syllables, I can tell that he is on the verge of tears. A shiver runs up my spine. I've heard Colin cry twice, even as a kid. Once, when Dad died, the other, when our childhood dog got put down. I am instantly alert, pressing the speaker to my ear. Colin? What's wrong?
Alana, I found something with Dad's old stuff Mom keeps in the attic. It was for a project, Alana, but I'm scared. Please come home.
I can hear muffled sobs over the speaker. Colin, take a breath. Is Mom home? No. What did you find? His next word chills me to the bone. Ivy. Instantly I'm up, shoving my textbooks into my backpack, crumpled notes following suit. What do you mean, Ivy? What are you talking about? Jonah and Gretchen share a look, before rising from the table to follow me. A letter, Colin sobs. I found a letter. Hold on, I'm almost to my car. I stalk across the quad and into the parking space behind my dorm, my friends following. I can hear Gretchen's boots stomp on the pavement as they meet me at my car. I throw open the driver's door and shove my keys in the ignition, Jonah and Gretchen following suit. Alana, what the hell is going on? Did something happen to Colin? Jonah tries to catch my eye from the passenger's seat as I whip out of the parking lot. Shut up, Jonah. I yell. Colin, you're on speaker. Me, Gretchen and Jonah are coming. What does the letter say? He takes a shaky breath, then begins to read. My name is Ivy Anne-Marie Carter. I do not want to forget this as long as I live. I merge onto the highway. I don't realize I'm holding my breath until Jonah gently whacks me in the arm, and I dryly inhale. I think I'm going to die here. I haven't been this hungry in weeks. I don't know where Charlie went. In a sick turn of events, I wish he would come back. I think it's nearly Friday. He brings McDonald's on Friday. Charlie. Charles. My father's name. The boards of the shed soak in the rain. I stopped believing in God a long time ago, but if he's real, thank you for the rain. I've resorted to sucking on the wood panels for water, but it doesn't hold me very long. I'm really, really thirsty. I think I have splinters on my tongue. What the fuck? Gretchen whispers from the back seat as Colin begins to sob once more over the speaker. The shed. We have a shed, in the back. Where Dad used to build birdhouses and desks when he felt stressed. When he could still use his hands. Before the cancer killed him. Colin, deep breaths, I choke as speed down the highway. We're coming. Stay where you are. Do not go to the shed. Colin takes a steady breath and continues. My ankles are swelling around these chains. I think the skin is growing over them. Where did he get these, anyways? Spirit Halloween? Has it been Halloween yet? It's cold at night, so it must be past summer. 10 minutes, Colin, I call. Alana, you're going to get pulled over, Gretchen calls timidly from the backseat. And you're going to shut your damn mouth, I respond, accelerating as I approach my exit. You know, when I was younger, I always dreamt about killing myself. Now that it's finally happening, I'm scared. Maybe I jinxed it. There is a slamming door over the speakerphone, and Colin yips. Colin? I hear her voice echo. You home from practice yet? I hope someone finds this. I don't want to die alone. And this way, once someone reads this, it's like they die along with me. Kinda. Symbolic. Colin, hun, Mom calls as I turn into our neighborhood. You upstairs? But my worst nightmare would be if the woman found it. She's worse than Charlie. I think she's jealous, maybe. My blood runs cold. Colin, leave the attic. Colin. Mom's voice is razor sharp. What did I say about looking through my things? My brother's voice is hurried and frantic as he stutters over his words. In my dying breath, I want the world to know. That lady is the devil. Ivy's words are interrupted by a slam, the hatch door of the attic rattling on its hinges. Colin yelps. My mother swears, her voice nearly bursting my eardrums as she stomps on the other end of the line. Colin. I gasp, and the line goes dead, cutting off what I think is a guttural scream, a sound I never heard before that escaped either Mom or Colin's lips, so foreign I can't tell. The car skids to a stop at the bottom of my driveway, and the three of us rush through the ajar front door, up the stairs, and into the... Gretchen screams. Jonah instantly pales. A sudden spurt of bile rises in my throat as I cough to swallow it back. At the bottom of the attic steps, in a gangly heap, lays Colin. He isn't moving. Face down, I can see the back of his head caved in, as if smashed by a blunt object. Fresh blood leaks through his blonde hair and runs down his pale cheeks. I go to rush to him, but Jonah is grabbing my waist and pulling me back, as my mother descends the steps, an old lamp grasped in both hands like a lifeline. She heaves with exertion as she faces the three of us. The metal lamp reflects Colin's metallic blood, glinting against the hallway lights. What did you do to him? I shriek, pulling away from Jonah's grip and clawing at empty air, as Mom's chest rises and falls, standing over my brother. Mom shakes her head. You weren't supposed to know. No one was supposed to know. She was supposed to rot in that fucking attic like the stupid whore she is. Is this a fucking joke? I yell. You're insane. Dad's insane. What the fuck did you do to Colin? Finally, I wrench out of Jonah's hold and rush to my brother, pressing my fingers against his neck in a desperate attempt to find a pulse. There, weak, but steady, it beats against my fingertips. I could almost cry from relief. Mom has gone silent. I look up to her and see a tear fall from her cheek. Jonah stands in front of us, hands outspread. Gretchen is gone, but I can hear her voice from the other room. My best friend's mom has gone crazy. Please, come, I think her brother's dead. Mom sniffles as she places a gentle hand on my shoulder. Ivy was supposed to be a hobby. A plaything. An outlet. And that slut became his everything. His last words, he said sorry to her. She spits that last word, hatred dripping from her tongue. Where was my sorry, huh? Where was it, Alana? Sorry for abandoning me for a child? After everything we've been through? She gazes off for a moment, then snaps her eyes back to me. But I'm afraid we can't talk about this now. I have to do damage control. I take a sharp breath and go to cover Colin's head as she raises the lamp once more, bracing for some kind of impact, when... thud. Screech. Jonah barrels into my mother, knocking her flat off her feet. She squirms, raising her hand to scratch his face, as he hisses and grabs both of her wrists, pinning her to the floor. Jesus Christ, he repeats over my mother's screaming. Jesus Christ. Mom kicks and screams as Jonah holds her down. Gretch, he calls breathlessly, when the fuck are the cops getting here? Gretchen barrels back into the hallway, curly hair astray and face soaked with tears. They should be here by now. She wails. She puts the phone back to her ear. Where the fuck are you guys? And I sit, holding my brother, as the mystery of Ivy unravels itself, spilling down the attic steps and through my whole body as I shudder. I lay a single daisy next to a plain headstone, adorned with pictures and teddy bears, cards and flowers. Ivy Ann Marie Carter. 2006 to 2021. Daughter, sister, friend. I take a moment to look at the photographs. Ivy had warm brown eyes and curly honey hair, cut to just below her shoulders. Freckles scattered her cheeks. I see her with friends, an arm looped around a grinning blonde girl at an amusement park. Her in a swim cap, hands up in celebration, grinning by the side of the pool. Ivy and a dog, a sweet black lab with a gray beard, curled up by the fireplace. A delicate hand reaches to hand me a tissue, and only then I realize I'm crying. I flinch. Sorry. I didn't mean to scare you, a warm voice says softly. I was hoping to find you, eventually. I take the tissue and dab my eyes, glancing to the woman beside me. Her face is worn and tired, hair graying at the roots, but the warm brown eyes are unmistakable. There is a kindness in them I have not seen in days, and I welcome it, drinking it in as she gives me a small smile. I falter. You are? The woman nods. Michelle. Michelle Carter. Ivy's mother. You're Alana. I recognize you, from court. My voice dies in my throat. There is a pause. Finally, I find some words. She was beautiful. Michelle smiles. She was. Smart, too. It's funny, she continues, suddenly choking on her words, 2 years later, and the dog still waits for her at the bus stop after school. She tilts her head to the sky. You know, it's strange. On one hand, finally burying her shattered my heart even more than a year and a half ago when she was presumed dead. But on the other, I feel relieved. That my baby's finally resting. It's been a long time coming. I don't know what to say to that. We stand in a peaceful silence for a moment. Dad's dying words echo in my head. Tell Ivy I'm sorry. Michelle, I sputter, as tears leak down my face. I'm sorry. Michelle looks at me and nods. I know. I cry for a moment, then freeze. I have no right to cry. This isn't my daughter in the ground. Ivy's mother looks pensive. She turns to me. You know, Alana, when Ivy was little, she hated the doctor. Always cried at the pediatrician. You know what I did to calm her down? I stare at her. What? Michelle smiles. I held her hand. She extends her hand to me and wiggles her fingers. I hesitate. There is a pause, and then I slip my hand into hers, and we lace fingers. And together, we stand at the grave, in a comfortable silence, as the puzzle of Ivy is put together, solved, then scattered in the wind, out of the shed and into the sunlight, where she can finally be at peace.